Am I doing everything right? I'm only asking because I recorded this on the roof earlier and everything was wrong. And it is time check, 8:06 p.m., but my friend's apartment is pretty soundproof. This is the EON ONE MK2 crash course of how to run this thing. Oh, let me see if I'm in the frame. Without the app. Just these buttons and knobs in the back, and mostly for artists that I'm working with, but I had someone who saw my 5 reasons to pay for and 5 reasons to pass on the EON ONE MK2. Since then, there has been an update, and so we will go through running through the knob. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this up from beginning to end. What's really cool about this, and what's been a really big conversation starter at my gigs, is you can get this up in 60 seconds with music going to it, especially if you have your phone already connected to the Bluetooth. So that's been really impressive. We're gonna start that right now. I'm gonna press this unlock button. I always have the battery on the left side because if I want to, I can plug in the IEC cable on the left. I don't know if you can see it in this light, but there's a USB-A to USB-C right here. And if I had it on the left USB-C, the battery would not fit, so that's why it's there, and it works perfectly. And I'm pretty much set up. I'm gonna press this for 3 seconds to turn on, and time. If I had my phone not recording, I would just kind of go to my Bluetooth, connect to it as if it was like a Bluetooth speaker, and I would have music up really quickly. Cool, so yeah, I can essentially get it. Your Bluetooth is gonna be channel 5, and that's how quick it is to set up. You know, because it's battery powered, you don't need to look for a source for power. Let's get the iPad, only because I have notes. So here's 5 of the most important things. Number 1, you want to keep the main volume at 0. You don't want to be like at -14 and then you're pumping channel 1's gain to like 60 because your main gain is at -13. So always be at 0 for the main volume gain. That's basically unity when you're on a mixer. And so you want to do unity on the faders, and then gain. But because we only have one knob, it's essentially gain. So keep the main volume at 0. You want to activate the AFS, which is the automatic feedback suppression, which you apparently cannot do with just the knobs, which is unfortunate because that allows you to have a little bit more output. You want to plug it into power so that you can also get more output from it. You lower the output if you're running just on batteries. Your direct microphone is gonna be 20 decibels and over. My channel 1 is usually from my mixer, so I'll be anywhere from 0 or maybe even +6 or 8, depending on how clean a signal I have from my mixer. But my microphone is usually here on channel 2, and you'll see that my channel 2 is at 34. So if you're at 30, 32, as long as you're not in front of the speaker, you won't have feedback issues. I'm usually about 5 feet back, 5 feet sideways from the speaker. That's gonna happen, and this is really where you wanna be right on your microphone, or have something like a Shure Beta 58A, because it gives you 30% more output. And then you want to watch for the red light on the limiter. If you are doing sound in front of it, there's a bottom middle light for red. If it's redlining, assume there's a little bit of headroom, but if it's redlining constantly, you might be in danger of blowing your speakers. 2 extra ones, if you can use the app, download the app, and then rename the Bluetooth speaker, right? So it's gonna be like EON ONE MK2, and then you have another one that says EON ONE MK2. And if you can identify which one is the audio one, go ahead and rename it on your device, add aux to the end of it. That way you can just know if you connect to the aux, just press it on your Bluetooth settings, because you're gonna have them as 2 names. One is for controlling, and one is for just Bluetooth for music. So yeah, that's kind of a quick rundown. I guess super number 1 important is when we're going here, you cannot trust these lights. So the number 1 thing you want to know, I guess I'm gonna have to give you a lot of number 1s, is one of the helpful things to know is switching the modes of these lights. So when we're here, we are in channel control mode. And then when you hold the back button for 3 seconds, you're in volume control mode. And in volume control mode, you'll also see that green means it's live, red means it's muted. But for some reason, when you power it up, these red lights essentially mean nothing. I think it boots up with everything live. Even the main master has a press and hold for 3 seconds. So what you wanna do before you start plugging in is you wanna just go green and go red. Or in volume mode, just go to -100, which is really cumbersome. I'm okay with activating, reactivating, and deactivating. If you turn it on and it's red, let's go see what happens when you boot it off and boot it on. I've plugged in cables, and even when everything was red, it was live and it popped. So before you plug anything in, mute it, unmute it, and mute it again. For this one specifically, we should be good with your microphone on 2, guitar on 3, and your second vocal, which I know yours will be XLR. You can put the second vocal here on 1, which is usually my input. The reason why you want to do that is because you can still control it in channel mode. So if you press any of these, it will activate channel mode for that respective channel. Meaning channel 1, all the lights turn off, and now these knobs correspond to what's on top. This is gain for channel 1, bass for channel 1, mids for channel 1, treble for channel 1, reverb for channel 1. Channel 2, gain, bass, mids, treble, reverb, right? So let's go see what that looks like. Even though this menu pops up, when you spin it, it'll automatically bass, mids, treble, and reverb. Now, what's interesting about effects is I don't know how you can mute effects through the knobs. So hold on, let's see, my channel is named Vox. Let's go to the main one. Effects processing. Effects processors is on. Reverb by Lexicon. Is there any other choice? Oh, that's interesting. Time, medium, presets. Okay, so there you go. You can go into the main and turn on these reverbs. There is no automatic feedback suppression though. There's nowhere you can find that. Let's go ahead and jump into plugging things in. I'm gonna go back into volume control mode. I'm just gonna mute everything. And because extreme paranoia, I'm gonna mute and unmute the mains again. I'll show you how quick it is to get your things plugged in. But yeah, so there you go. I'm essentially ready to go. Now, because I'm indoors, I'm not gonna blast this thing. I am at 9 out of 10. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna unmute channel 3, which is guitar. And you'll be able to see, you see it's going solid, dim, bright. Let's see if we can make it yellow. Green essentially means clean signal. Yellow means you're getting close to peaking, right? And so you can also visually see that. I'm at 22, let's see at 36, still yellow. Oh, there's red. So at least you know at 36 full strength, it's red. And you can see there's even a limit. Even though it's not coming out, the limit now is going off. Wow, interesting. Even when it's muted, the limiter will go off. That's handy. Didn't know that. So I'm gonna go down to 8 on my guitar. What's interesting to me is like, was it yellow lining? Yellow lining here, but it's pushing the limiter here. And then what happens when it's red lining here? Then for sure it should be double red lining, right? Why is it red lining the entire system when it's only yellow lining the channel? See? Question for other times. I'm gonna double check what's my volume on my vocals. Usually I'm at 30, but let's do 24 since we're indoors. Let's go do levels check, visual. Cool, I'm gonna unmute the mains. I'm gonna go to 10. Okay, I'm gonna stay to 8. So yeah, volume's on, guitar's on, and there's still a lot of headroom. So let's go mute, and let's go see when the red light goes on my vocal track. Just speaking normally, frustration, watching you dance, hesitation, to get in your pants, come. So around 44 at same level, I'm there, and that's kind of why you want to ride your microphone. So I'm probably around 32 and I just pull off. So about 3 feet is pretty good. Let's go see what it sounds like at 32. Now I believe in this, every 6 decibels you add multiplies the sound by, or is double, right? So from 30 to 36 is double, 36 to 42 is another doubling. And so let's see my channel 2, click it. Let's hit back to get out of this. Now we can see my gain is at 32. My bass is at 3.6. If you feel like it's a little muddy, clear it up with removing bass. You do typically want more mids on your vocals, so let's say 2.7. And for females, maybe not that much treble. For guys, should be all right. And then you can control your reverb here. So now it's usually my channel 1 is at 0 gain because I usually save that for a mixer going in. But let's say you have somebody else who's here building this channel from scratch. You can match the gain if you're using the same microphone and they have theoretically the same output. Some people will need like 36 or even 38. I'm a louder singer. Females, you want to give them a little bit more fullness. And you should be able to hear this from the front as well. And this is why the app is helpful. It's because you can listen to it from the back of the room and adjust it on the fly. A little bit of mids if it's a female, a little more clarity with the treble. And then around 14 was where I was. So there you go, you're already there. And now you've essentially matched what the EQ chain and the chain was for the channel. Now you can visually do this better and more easily with the app, but in a pinch, that's all you have to do. Now, if you have 3 microphones, you can shift this over to the line in, since these are 3 combo jacks, or let's say you had a DI box. And that's what's great about this for the mixer in the back. A lot of times I only use 3 channels, and I save the channel 1 so that it's always ready for a mixer to go in. Now, if you had 2 of these, you can use a pass-through, and the downside of this pass-through is it's 1/4 inch. The pass-throughs on the PRX ones are XLR, but a lot of people have 1/4 inch to 1/4 inch. You just send the pass-through into channel 1, and I've noticed that if you do a 0 on the mix out, and I think it's +6 on the PRX, or on the other one, the other Mark II, you get almost the same volume. I wish they gave us the specs of your pass-through at 0 should be input at 0 as well, so that the volumes are the same, but you kind of have to play it by ear. Whereas if you had a mixer and you just did left out into channel 1 and right out into channel 1 of the other one, then you have essentially a clean mix as long as the settings are the same. The issue now is you have to make sure that the channel settings are exactly the same on both machines, which you can do in the app, and you can group them as well, but that's just another step that you have to take. That's essentially what you need to do for the EON ONE Mark II if you're doing everything here. What I'm going to show you next is what's really cool about these USBs, because I use this second one. I'm going to plug in my guitar pedal and just plug it in through this USB, because with the USB-A to 9-volt adapter cable, it can plug my entire 9-volt rig, which is actually pretty substantial, and I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so what I have is a semi-complicated pedal, but one cable can power this entire thing, and I'll show you the cable that I have. So JBL sells this, but third parties also sell it. I just wanted to grab the JBL one. It is the 9-volt, USB-A to 9-volt, switches to this. I had to super glue it because the connector was getting a little loose, so I just put some super glue there. And then I ended up buying a DC extender, just because sometimes I'm a little bit further away from here. And basically what I do, I just plug it in here, and it will power my pedal, pretty much with no issues. On this pedal board that is being powered, we have, starting here, WL50, usually charging my transmitter. It is also powering my FS6. I have the 9-volt plus-minus adapter into the DC out. It looks like this. So basically where the battery would plug into, it accepts a 9-volt, which also powers my GT1, which is routed out and into stereo of my RC500. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 pedals, and this is a cloud lifter, not a speed booster, that I can leave my volume on pretty much 0, and luckily when you go to 0, it doesn't mute it. And I have a clean microphone signal, because usually if you're straight in, you're like maxed out on your gain on the preamp here. So this really helps a clean signal for your microphone. This is a really cheap one from Clark Technic, and it's been great. So we're gonna plug this in, power it from the JBL EON ONE Mark II, which is still completely IEC cable free. Plug it into that. Now I am wireless. I'm gonna plug this cable that was in my Hello Kitty into my RC500. So let's go do a loop. I might need to turn down my gain because it's powered by the GT1. Let's go see if we can see a visual. So let's go mute this and then unmute this. So this is kind of like a pre-fader check because mains is muted, but when you see, even when it's muted, you can see the signal there. So let's unmute it. Let's see if it's still, it's yellow already. It's red. So we're gonna go down red. See, this is how different the signal becomes. Yellow at 6. My Hello Kitty is still at 8. So let's go down to 2. Let's go unmute the master. That's how big the channel volume is. We were at, I don't even remember what we were at, but basically at 0 now. And you'll see when you have a clean output on your mixer, say you're using the Pro FX or 6 version 3 Plus because of the Bluetooth, which is what I use. Input channel is pretty much at 0 to like maybe 4 if you really need to push it.
Feel like I can be honest now.
I'm gonna show you a super cool life hack. Because there's two USBs in the back, I purchased these really cheap $20 Go Docks light mons. But what I've done, and I'll show you this actually on the top here, but I've put a GoPro mount here. And so what I do is I basically have my GoPro mount, and then I actually point this to myself. And then I have the USB-A to USB-C to make sure that this just stays on. So I'll do something like here, I'll plug this in here. And I got this because I don't really get enough power from the USB-A to USB-C converter. So I'll put it through the handle just so it stays straight. I usually try to wrap it around and then turn this on and just point it to the artist and just try to keep the cables clean. Like when I turn off all these lights, it's gonna be crazy dark. Or let's dim the main light and see how it's affected, right? Let's set some mood light. Ooh, I can already see it. Huge difference. And we'll show you what it looks like when it's off. Now, you don't have to worry about popping. Maybe I don't think I'm wrong. I think I've done it before. You can hear the sub is still going. And so this is why this GoPro is clutch. I can even turn it down a little bit to match the room. So here's 2 clicks up from the lowest. And this just really adds ambiance to it. If you have an RGB light, which I just got for myself, okay, I hope you're enjoying the new app for the JBL Pro Connect. A lot of the things that I asked for were added to it, and I think it's the #1 battery-powered tower, and I have 2 of them. I have 2 PRX ones as well. I would definitely keep the EON ONE MK2s, and I would have upgraded to the EV50Ms if I'm being completely honest with you. They are worth the money for the output, because if you get 150M, that will last you for a long time before you need 2 in stereo. I think 150M might be as good as 2 PRX ones, except you don't get that stereo fill if you have stereo delays. But when you upgrade to 250Ms and you have the Cat5 cable to run just off your iPad with both mixers working together, I think that's such a huge thing. But I'm already using mixers for stereo, so if you are just starting off and you do need the battery powered, start off with one EON ONE MK2, add another for stereo. But if you always have access to power and you feel like you're gonna be doing bigger gigs, bite the bullet, get the 50Ms. I am probably jumping to the 70Ms, but that's a whole nother thing for a whole nother video. I hope this helped anyone who's working with me here in the Bay Area, and our fan who emailed me asking for some help because she's running some open mics in her retirement. I hope you're having a great time doing that, and I hope this helped you. With the iPad, you do open up a lot of things, but you can already get started with the knobs on the back. So happy gigging. Thanks for tuning in, and see you guys around.